So, here it is, guys, the Veng Demon Hunter. And you'll notice by the music, I've got that in there, I'll explain it here in a minute. But currently I want to go through some stuff. This is the Halls of Valor. It's a level 100 dungeon. I wanted to show you the difference between a level 100 dungeon tanking and a level 110. So at the end of this video, we do show the Vault of the Wardens. So far, the main question to be asked is, how are they doing as a tank? Well, that's why I've got the music in there. They make me happy. Extremely happy. They're doing good. I'm actually very surprised that Blizzard came out with this. That they do a lot of self-healing. They do have some really good passive defense against actual combat. Now, with that being said, we'll go over some of the abilities here. If I were to give these guys a ranking currently in the state that it's at, I would give it a 7 out of 10 because they do have some issues to where if you get a couple really good hits against you, it does a huge amount of damage, and they do have a large rev up time on getting the health back. As you can see, the purple orbs running around there, that is actually soul fragments that you end up building through certain abilities, and you can bring those in. Shear is your main pain generator. That's going to be under my number 1 slot right there. The very next one in your number 2 slot's actually Soul Cleave. The number 5 slot's Immolation Aura. Now these are your basic abilities. Throw Glaive's going to be number 6. Demon Spikes is number 3. That Demon Spikes is your active mitigation. Now what this is going to end up doing for you, it's going to increase your parry by 20%, and it also reduces the physical damage you take by 30% for 6 seconds. Pretty amazing if you end up watching it good. With all of this together, what you're looking at doing is you're wanting Shear to end up building your pain. It's spammable by any sort of... there's no cooldown on it, it's instant. You're just going to be smacking this button constantly. Number 4 is a talent. It's called Shatter, or Fracture. Fracture is actually the name of it, and what that does is it's a huge hitting ability, but it also gives you more of these orbs. It gives you 2 of these, what they call lesser soul fragments that you get built through combat. If you kill something, then they actually have a chance of dropping a full soul fragment, which heals you for a ton. How can you get these? Well, basically you can do it by acting like a monk and playing Pac-Man, which you're going to see. They're not too overpowered because we die right here. We are dead. I ended up pulling way too many of these wolves, and then we're already back in here. Gonna pull it the right way and actually get through this trash. So, are they overpowered? No, absolutely not. They're sitting about the same as any other tank. So you have a normal interrupt, you have a normal taunt. Torment is going to be your taunt. That's the number 8 icon down there. Your interrupt is consume magic. That's going to be all the way to the very far right of that first bar. The equal sign, I believe it is. Anyways, you've got these items, and they are absolutely amazing for trying to keep you alive. As you can see, most of this not taking any damage at all at this level 100. But that's why I put the level 110 stuff in there. You'll see a huge difference to where I'm actually having to work for it. As where this, it's just passively, it's amazing. It's fun to play. You're constantly hitting something, constantly having to do something, and you'll see under number 2, the Soul Cleave, what that does is it's actually a heavy damaging ability, but it also heals you. But the other great thing it does is within 20 yards, if you have any of these soul fragments, that's what that little counter number on it is. That's actually going to suck in those soul shards to you and give you more healing as each one comes to you. And yes, it is not an instant healing like, don't get it mixed up with the Death Knight's Death Strike. If you get it mixed up with that, you are wrong. It is not an instant heal. It's not going to give you a shield. It's not going to do none of that. What it's going to do is it's going to have these come to you, and they do flow in pretty slowly. I mean, I've got this all split up, obviously, so we can end up seeing a little bit more. We're actually sitting on the 3rd boss in Halls of Valor, and I did the cheese strat for the normal version. I haven't done this on heroic yet. I don't know if this is going to still be viable in heroic. But hey, it worked for us. Everyone's still learning, so I wanted to get that. Just get through this as quick as possible. It's really fun, guys. You got a bunch of different cooldowns. Again, you've got Shear for one of your main spam ability. You got Soul Cleave, which is your main heal. You've got Demon Spikes, which is your active mitigation. Immolation Aura, which it does an initial heavy fire damage, and then it does a ticking damage over time to mobs within 8 yards, I believe it was. And then the other thing that you end up having is the other thing that you end up getting in this, you've got this passive, okay, you can't hurt me kind of deal with your demon spikes, pretty much, because you're parrying. You got that extra 20% parry, and then you got 30% reduced damage. That's what you're going to want to use whenever you see a boss saying, hey, I am getting ready to tear your face up. And you'll see me use that the first boss of the Vault of Wardens quite a bit, because there's an ability he does that he'll just tear you up. It has no justice, no mercy. If you don't use something, you're going to die. That being said, you also have a good range of cooldowns. Now the first one is your main one. Everybody knows this. It's Metamorphosis. It's the one that they stripped from the Demonology Warlock and gave to this very new class. It's going to increase your health, max health, current and max health by 30%, and then generate 10 pain per second. So not only are you going to get all this extra health, you're going to be able to build a ton of soul orbs if you take fracture, or if you just want to end up going through and spamming your soul cleave and heal that way, because soul cleave, it's not only just doing a heavy damage to one mob. If you've got a bunch of them in front of you, it's a cleave target. It's going to hit all the targets in front of you and heals you for a set amount. Now this is probably going to scale up with your agility or attack power, or something's going to make this scale up later on, and this is going to help out a lot. Your next cooldown that you're going to end up having, you're going to see that's right above my 0 mark. Kind of looks like a little, the Demon Hunter symbol that they've got out for it. And that's called Fiery Brand. It instantly burns your target with fire damage and reduces the damage they do to you by 40%. This will last for 8 seconds. It's pretty nice, guys. It's a 1-minute cooldown. If you feel like you're getting in trouble, about half health, and you haven't seen your healer really reacting to it, throw this thing up, and then by the time it goes to wear off, you'll have enough lesser fragments out there to heal yourself up and call yourself good. The next one that I'm going to end up showing is just to the right of that. That's Soul Carver. That's actually out of your artifact ability, and this thing's just going to shit fragments out for you. Basically what it's going to do is it shatters off 2 lesser fragments right at the beginning, alright, while it does damage. And then it's going to do a ticking fire damage, and every time this ticking fire damage ticks, I believe it's every second, each tick's going to create another lesser fragment. So you're going to see these things just popping out, popping out, popping out, popping out. You can only consume up to 5. So at this point, if you're using your Soul Carver, you're going to want to follow through with a Soul Cleave right at the bat. Or start playing Pac-Man, run around and start grabbing these orbs. Okay? Nice and easy. Your sigils, perfect. Sigil of Flame, basically you place this thing on the ground. What it's going to do, it's going to, after 2 seconds, it's going to explode, cause some good area damage, and then start ticking. Anything that it hit, it's going to cause a dot to go on top of it. Awesome. It's great for pulling large mobs. You'll see me use that quite a bit in here. Basically, if you see a green circle on the ground that just goes, that was it. You also got Sigil of Chains. This is a targeted mass grip. Basically, from what I noticed, if you're in combat with something and they're within, I'd say it's like a 20-yard range, they don't specify what the range is. If you throw this thing down, everything just gets sucked to the center of it and slowed. It's great. If you need to end up doing a quick escape, your healer dies and they're running in, you're trying to get out of something, toss this thing down. You'll see them just go zoop right to it, nice and slow, and then you can end up using Infernal Strikes, which is basically Heroic Leap for Demon Hunters, except it does a little bit more, it does fire damage instead of physical damage, but it's the same damn thing. You'll see me using that one in here quite a bit too, because it's just good for mobility. Sigil of Silence is your last sigil, unless you talent into Sigil of Misery. I didn't see a lot of use for Sigil of Misery. It's like an AoE fear, basically like the warrior one. Sigil of Silence, what it does is, it's basically the same as the other two. You put you get the targeting reticle, you put it in the location. I'm using it right there, and what it does is, it silences all enemies within the area for 6 seconds. Great, great item. I can see a lot of good uses for that in PvP too. If you can end up, like if you're with a Frost Mage or a Mage in general, to where they lock it down, you can drop this thing bloop, right down on top of them, lock them out really good, and just continue on. Your passives that you end up getting for the Vengeance Demon Hunter, what you're looking at is Demonic Ward. Basically, your tattoos reduce the magic damage taken by 30% and increase stamina by 20% and armor by 200%. So this is your tank change that you end up getting from Havoc. It's going to end up just giving you that ability to actually do the tanking. All your other abilities generate enough threat. They didn't mention anything on there on threat. Your other passive ability you get for being a Demon Hunter is going to be double jump. Self-explanatory. You jump once, you jump twice, and then you also have glide, which is it's nice. If you end up hitting the jump a third time, it will actually automatically activate glide. So you don't have to double jump, and then click the icon. You can just hit the jump button again, and it's going to let you go. This is the first boss in the Vault of the Wardens that I mentioned earlier too. And you can see, I think it's like Severed Strikes or something like that. But if you don't have your active right there, Dark Blades, I think it was, I don't know, I can't read. I don't have my glasses on right now, and I'm not trying really. So what you're looking at is that ability, you're going to want to end up using that active mitigation. This is probably going for any tank, not just the Demon Hunter. But you go through, you get it done, and it's extremely fun, guys. I'm very surprised. When the Death Knight first came out, I rolled a Death Knight for about the first hour, and I've since then only been able to level cap 1. They just don't entertain me as much as some classes. And this tank right here, I've been bored with tanking for years, except for every now and then jumping on my pally going, alright, we're gonna, spec prot and do this crap in our holy gear to try and end up running a 5-man just for the shits and giggles. This one actually entertains me. There's a lot to do, there's a lot you can actually do, and Brewmaster's always been fun also, and I feel like this is a lot like Brewmaster when they first came out, before all the nerfs that destroyed us. And really, guys, this was a fun class. 100% surprised. The only thing is they're a little on the squishy side. Now, with the artifact, once you start getting artifact power, this is going to be a breeze. There's actually an ability in there, and most of your stuff, your attacks, they're either going to be shadow damage, but 90% of them are fire damage. This ability on it actually heals you for all fire damage done. You're going to be a walking hot. That's all you will be, is a walking hot. And it's going to be amazing. These guys, by the end of this tier, are probably going to be rocking it unless they get nerfed. If they don't get nerfed, these are going to be your #1 tanks, buddy. I mean, it's going to be great. So, as you can see, though, in the play style itself, you've seen my health dip quite a bit more in this one. But at the same time, I mean, you'll watch, I'll hit that soul carver, and I'll just pop right back up. I mean, or soul cleave, sorry. Soul carver, I use that ability just to end up getting the spheres out there. It's great for starting off, especially. So, guys, honestly, 100%, if you feel like playing the Vengeance Demon Hunter, I am 100% going to say go for it. Now, with the new expansion, the new class, the one thing you got to watch out for, if you're looking for a raid spot, there's going to be about 10,000 of these things rolling out the door as soon as Blizzard releases them for the early expansion stuff. Just remember this, because if you're planning on maining this, you best be good, because in a good player's hands, these guys are going to probably be unstoppable. In a mediocre player's hands, they're going to grab a warrior, just because warriors have always been there, or pally, something that they know that they can end up getting, because even in a mediocre player's hands, they're going to be top notch. But you do have to realize at certain points, okay, I've taken 3 hits in a row, the 4th hit's going to kill me. You may have to jump. Use your Infernal Strikes and get the hell away, grab a couple of these orbs real quick, and then get back into the fight, or wait until you get a good heal up. because if you don't, you're gonna die. And I mean, anybody can end up learning to do this. This is all part of actually taking control of your class. Everybody's got to do it, especially if you want to get into, you know, the heroic rating is the middle road right now. Normal is a little too easy for consideration, so you'd probably do fine in that environment. But heroic, and then you jump into mythic stuff, you're really going to have to be top notch on your game, because I can see these guys getting blasted hard if you aren't top. Just like Brewmaster is currently in Warlords of Draenor. You know, if you aren't quick with what you've got to do, you're going to be in trouble. I'll go over a few of the talents while we're going here. We didn't get to complete this dungeon, and I'll show you why here in a second, but it's really kind of a sad deal that they've still got problems with the Eye of Loon and the whole corridor going up to the Warden. Cordana, that's her name, and we actually ended up losing both the orbs, and you'll see that towards the end of the video here. So back to the talents, level 99, because you won't get your full 100 your full talents at 100. You actually have to level to 110 to get them. So talents 99, Abyssal Strikes, Infernal Strike range increased by 10 yards, and the cooldowns reduced by 5 seconds. This is a passive. Pain Tolerance, increase max pain by 20 and generate 4 pain every seconds while under 20 pain. This is also a passive. Fracture, which is the ability I'm using, that's under my number 4. This is an actual ability. Brutally slam your target and shatter 2 lesser soul fragments from them for 100 damage. Alright, now this is where we end up losing it, and we're also going to end up ending the video here real quick, guys. So I'll put a brief description of the talents actually in the comments once I get this loaded, so you can end up seeing it. Or you can always, I don't know if they've got this live on Wowhead or one of the other affiliating sites yet, because they have been changing. Some of them are still coming soon. There's a level 110 talent that's still coming soon, and you can see we're running back right now trying to get it. But guys, thanks for watching. I will post these up here. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a like, and we'll get back to you. Thank you.